So namaste everyone. So in the last class we have given an introduction to the school of Hatha Yoga. Like it is one among the path in yoga which help us to get rid of dukkha and attain the state of yoga. So Hatha Yoga is one among the path, and we try to understand what is Hatha and yoga, the term. What is Hatha Yoga? So we told Hatha represents the two opposite forces residing within us, and yoga is the ultimate state of mind. So Hatha Yoga is a sampradaya or a school of yoga to attain the state of yoga by bringing the harmony between these opposite forces residing within us. That is Ha and Tha. So there are various scriptures in the Hatha Yoga Sampradaya which help us to understand the principles or practices which aids us to bring the harmony of these two opposite principles, Ha and Tha. So we'll go through few of the works, or we'll get familiar with few of the works in the Hatha Yoga Sampradaya. So the most famous or book, one of the authentic scripture on Hatha Yoga is the Hatha Yoga Pradipika of Swatmarama. So Hatha Yoga Pradipika means Hatha Yoga means Hatha, we told the opposite forces, yoga the highest state of mind. Pradipika means that which illuminates, which gives that light. So this Hatha Yoga Pradipika of Swatmarama actually helps us to give a light on what is this Hatha Yoga and its practices and principles. So that is Hatha Yoga Pradipika of Swatmarama Yogi. And next there is Gheranda Samhita. Gheranda Samhita is attributed to the Maharshi Gheranda, which came later after the scripture Hatha Yoga Pradipika as per the Shastras. So the text is in the form of a discussion between Gheranda and his disciple Chantakapali, a discussion between Gheranda and Chantakapali. And it actually, this Gheranda Samhita gives us a separate, a new light on the school of Hatha Yoga, and it brings out a separate theory or principle called Ghatastha Yoga in the school. Ghatastha Yoga. Basically this Ghata represents the Sharira, body, and the practice which they gave to attain this Ghatastha Yoga is Ghata Shuddhi through Sapta Sadhana. There are some 7 limbs of yoga, and through that 7 limbs attaining Ghata Shuddhi and reaching the Ghatastha Yoga, that is Gheranda Samhita. It's a very beautiful text like Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Then there is the Shiva Samhita, which is one of the auspicious scripture, and it is being attributed to Lord Shiva, Adi Yogi, and the actual author is, who is the recent author or one who interpreted it is unknown, and the text is basically dedicated to the Lord Shiva, and the date of the text is not calculated or it is unknown. And next is there is Goraksha Shataka, as well as there is Goraksha Samhita is dedicated to or been written by the Gorakshanatha Yogi. And there is Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati of again Gorakshanatha. Then there is Vasishta Samhita, one another important treaty in the Hatha Yogic school, which is attributed to sage Vatmiki. And in Vasishta Samhita, again it is a discussion between our Guru Vasishta and Lord Sri Rama. So Sri Rama is actually preaching the yoga shastra to get rid of dukkha he is going through in the samsara. So Vasishta is giving an advice to get rid of that dukkha. So that is Vasishta Samhita, one of the another beautiful treaty on Hatha Yoga. Then there is the Hatha Ratnavali of Srinivasa Bhatta. That is very recent text. Later came treaty on Hatha Yoga, Hatha Ratnavali. So today we will try to give an introduction to one of the important treaty, that is our Hatha Yoga Pratipika of Yogi Swatmarama. So as we told, the author, the text is dedicated to Swami Swatmarama, and the date of this particular scripture is dated back to around this 15th century. And there are 4 chapters in the text, and these chapters are called Upadeshas. So there are 4 Upadeshas. 4 Upadeshas are there which aids us to attain that Hatha Yoga Siddhi, success in Hatha Yoga. So it is also called as there are 4 Angas or 4 Upadeshas, it is also called as Chaturanga Yoga. So the text is famous as it is the treaty for Chaturanga Yoga, Chaturanga Yoga. And in total there are around some 389 shlokas in the discussion. And the first chapter is dedicated for the principle called asana. So the first chapter is asana, and in this particular text Swatmarama Yogi is discussing around some 15 asanas. Along with that, the discussion, so the major discussion in the first chapter or first Upadesha is regarding this 15 asanas. Along with that, as it is a Pratama Upadesha, he also gives or elaborates a lot into what are all the prerequisites. So this text or this school is particularly for the beginners. So before directly jumping into the sadhana, they should first learn little some foundational or basic qualities they should have before getting into the practice. They should have certain qualities. So what are all those prerequisites a sadhaka should have before starting the yoga sadhana? That also been explained in detail, like there are yoga siddhis and asiddhis, the 6 factors which help us to attain success in yoga, as well as certain factors which bring us the failure. So there are siddhis and asiddhis. Also he start with who are all the yogis, the yogi parampara, lineage of the Naga sadhus or Natha Sampradaya. And there are 10 yamas and niyamas, the yogic diet and the importance of sadhana has been explained in the first chapter. And second chapter is dedicated to the pranayama principle. In that, as a prerequisite for the practice of pranayama, they discusses regarding the yogic kriyas or shat karmas, and later begins with nadi shodhana and ashtakumbhaka, and it culminates in the practice or discussion of kevala kumbhaka. Then the third chapter is dedicated to the mudra abhyasa, mudras and bandhas. So in total there are some 10 mudras they are discussing. And also along with the discussion of mudras and bandhas, they discuss the concepts of nadis, kundalini, these principles which represent the hatha, ha and tha, there is Surya, Chandra, Shiva, Shakti, those principles also a part of the discussion. The fourth chapter is dedicated to one of the important sadhana called Nathanusandhana, and the chapter name is actually Samadhipada, Samadhi Upadesha. So Nathanusandhana is the main core discussion in the last 4th chapter, and it also gives a light on the 4 stages of Nathanusandhana, which is Arambha, Ghata, Parichaya and Nishpatti Avasthas. So in the next class we will start with the first chapter and the introduction whatever we discussed in the next class. So thank you one and all.